Discuss this now with Professor Susan Booysen, Director of Research at Mapungubwe Institute for Strategic Reflection. Hi there, Prof. Always great to talk to you. I was listening to Michael Apple's package, and the Deputy Chief Justice clearly really frustrated with this. I send a nice letter, I get told I'm not following the rules by Zuma's people. Then I say I'm going to subpoena, then I'm told I'm being harsh and unfair. Is this a classic example of what many people call Zuma's Stalingrad approach? And if so, what is that exactly?
Yes, indeed. I think this is a special extension on the Stalingrad approach. Because the Stalingrad approach entails legal challenge after legal challenge. But now, at this point, where there is really no further runaway space for Zuma, now he and his legal team are going for the commission itself, trying to drive a wedge between Justice Zondo, Deputy Chief Justice Zondo, and the Zondo Commission, and questioning the integrity, especially the lack of impartiality of Justice Zondo. And in that way, I believe they are trying to have the summons placed into legal abeyance, by triggering the recusal application for recusal process, and thereby hoping that Zuma would never have to appear at the Zondo Commission. And so it is an extension, although a slight variation of the theme of that Stalingrad approach.
Why is he avoiding the commission? Is it pure and simple that he may implicate himself?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, after so much evidence being led, after being implicated in so many pieces of evidence before the commission, obviously there are serious questions to be answered. And as we saw in the middle of last year, he went into a tirade as to all previous alleged conspiracy, Zuma, against him, and just being at the commission, but absolutely refusing to answer questions. And so because there is so much evidence led so far, one could say it has the status of allegations until a final judgment is reached or final report is released. But there is no space for movement once he starts answering questions. We've seen in the past too, part of the strategy has been to say, I don't recall, as far as I remember, and that type of evasion of questions. And I'm sure by this time, Paul Pretorius and his legal team would have the legal and questioning strategy to get around those kind of responses as well.
What is your best bet for what is likely to happen on November the 16th? Will we see a reluctant, evasive former president appear? Or do you think that this legal abeyance process that you've referred to is the route they're going to choose, just to literally stop him from going to the commission, trying to delay until the commission ends, which I think is in March next year?
Yes, and as Justice Zondo has said today too, and reminded people, by December this year they have to conclude, Paul Pretorius did that as well, by December they have to conclude evidence or they're going to run out of time. Zondo needs time to consider all evidence and to write his report. So I really think Zuma and his legal team are going to do their utmost to prevent Zuma's appearance there. But then application for recusal process, that process can also be done quite quickly. And Justice Zondo can refuse to go that route. And we know from previous legal cases in South Africa, the onus is on the applicant to prove a lack of impartiality, a lack of reasonableness on the side of the judge or the justice in this case. So it is quite possible that Zondo and if those legal processes are kicked into action, might lose a bit of time, but it is still possible that it could be concluded quickly.
Prof, I have to ask you a broader question about the ANC. I know that you've studied the ANC for many years and you're very familiar with the workings of the party. And I was just wondering for your assessment on how the party is doing. You know, under the party's watch, we have seen state capture happen. But also under the party's watch, we are seeing a lot of arrests for corruption. Is the party renewing itself? Do you think it's capable?
one has to say in principle, maybe there is some ability that remains there. But then corruption and high level, extensive level of top leaders being implicated and being hamstrung by the fact that the ANC and corrupt practices in the ANC is so widespread that there are very few people in the ANC who can take definitive action. And I am not reassured yet by the fact that there are now a whole spate of arrests, because we know all arrests, as we've seen many cases how they have, can still end in Stalingrad, many, many little Stalingrads unfolding all around, even today, as we saw in the attempted clean-up in Gauteng government. There are always reasons why people can say, but this is not quite what it seems to be. I have not done that. There is no evidence. And that is a process that spins out, and I don't see the end of that. And in the process, the ANC weakens itself.
Thank you very much, Professor Susan Booysen, Director of Research at Mapungubwe Institute for Strategic Reflection.